So still people students are joining. Okay, yeah. So you can take the photos and then start the session. So I think others, Rahul, where are you? Nitin, Prashant, please come in the camera for some time. Mohit, where are you now? So, okay, I think the formalities is over now. I think now we can start the session. I think around 33 students has joined. So okay. Anyhow, as I told you, that today actually I tried to recap some of the things. So far we have covered almost 3 blocks we have completed, and now the fourth block will start today. So vector is sorry, fourth block, that is here. Yes. So now today actually fourth block we started vector 1 and vector 2 the tomorrow. So vector 1 syllabus is very less, that much critical, and I think 1 hour or 45 minutes is sufficient for vector 1. So that's why I decided today I have to repeat some of the important units which you have left out, and some of the students may not understand all these things. So first, I have to say some determinant. Already, uh, the confusion determinant and matrix. What is the basic difference between matrix determinant? So, so that way it will be a recap. If anybody recall determinant, can anybody say what is the determinant? Actually, I have discussed that time. Let's see how much you can remember it. Determinant, anybody remember?
Sir, value of a matrix is called determinate.
Correct. Nitin correctly says because the determinant is the value. Where from the matrix is just like a array of elements. What are the elements are there? 1, 2, 3, 5, row and column. That arrangement we are calling is a matrix. So determinant is the basically we are calculate the values. So correctly, Nitin correctly says. Now question is coming to next is for the determinant. What is the conditions? So matrix from the actually determinant we are now calculating from the matrix only. So that what type of matrix is required? That is square matrix. Another condition is when we find out the determinant, the matrix should be square. So from the square matrix only we can derive the values. Now during the determinant calculations, which we are doing? We are doing the product of diagonal. There is a one principal diagonals and what are off diagonals. So multiplying the principal diagonals, what are the elements are there? minus the off diagonals, multiplication of the off diagonals. Suppose, for example, one of the matrices are like this: 1, 2, 3, 4. For example, that is 2 into 2 in the matrix forms. So it is a square matrix. So that case determinant will be straight away. You can multiply by, suppose, 1 and 2 in the row wise, 1, 2 in the row wise, and 3, 4 in the another row wise, second row. So we can multiply 1 and 4 diagonally. We can multiply minus 2 and 3 another diagonals. We can multiply this. So what are the result will come? We can see the value of this particular determinant of particular matrix. So this is the way. Is a 2 into 2 matrix, then no problem. If it is a 3 into 3 matrix, suppose there are 3 rows and 3 columns, then what we will do? Particular one element, suppose the first row, first column elements is theirs. When you are identifying this particular determinant of particular things, then you have to cover up the, or you can leave the first row and the second row across the element. That means that element should fall within this उसी line पे आना चाहिए. So then what are the remaining portions are we have to calculate by the product rules. What are the principal products? And so this way you are calculating the value of the 3 into 3 matrices. So basic these things are there. So once you have identified the determinant, then you may go for other procedures. So for matrices, what happened? To identify the values, we are going for Cramer rules, inverse matrix, and uh, reducing process that is called the Jordan process, Whistler-Jordan process. There are 3 procedures are there to identify the matrix value, determinant value procedures. So there is no such any formula. Only you have to remember the procedures. In case of Cramer rules, so nothing is there. As usual, there will be in the Cramer rules there will be one main determinant and another 3 determinant you have to identify. That's all. And some procedures there. There you have to put some row and to reducing the column process. So you can identify the values. So if you go through my study materials, which are the given and the study materials, so there you can see the Cramer rules is very easy. Simply have to identify the determinant value you can identify. No problem. I will show you another example also. Let me theoretically just explain me. Then after that I will show one again, one determinant, one matrix, that I will show you. Then after that I will go for the another chapters. So in case of inverse matrix, there are formulas there. A inverse is equal to 1 by A adjoint A. So that is the formula for inverse matrix. So inverse matrix procedure, there are 2 things you have to identify. One is the determinant you have to identify, and the cofactors. And cofactors and basically the adjoint of matrix, adjoint of A. So there are additionally you have to do it cofactors. And after that, one thing you have to remember that cofactors, then after that you transpose the cofactors. Then only you can get the adjoint A. So cofactors and the determinant is not much difference. In the case of determinant, we are putting the elements value on the outside in the bracket. Before multiplications, we are putting the value of the particular element. Then we are going for the values, multiplications. But in case of cofactor, element is not coming. Only the product value state is coming. And another difference is there. In the matrix, in the determinant, only first row we are doing, but in case of cofactor, total 3 rows means total 9 elements. You have to find out the cofactors. So that is the additional thing you have to do it. And then finally you have to put in the formula and you will get the inverse values. And reducing process method, actually I'm talking about 3 into 3 matrix procedures, where there are 3 rows and 3 columns.
Excuse me, sir.
In between, you tell me if any doubts.
So can you please, actually I joined in between. Can you please see which chapter we are following so I can just go through?
Just actually, I'm just recapping determinant matrix. Today, actually, subject is vector one. So vector one actually very small unit. So that's why I, as usual, actually, yesterday I discussed already. I told. But today I will try to recap whatever the units already have crossed through. So now we have just before that we have discussed about the determinant. Now we are talking about the matrix, type of matrix, and their solution procedures. So now, so gamma rules already I have discussed, and the inverse matrix also procedure I have discussed. Now I will show you one of the example also. Just listening carefully, and then after that I will show the things. And then another is reducing process uh, for identifying the values. So the reducing process or uh, Jordan process, whatever it is, their target is triangular. You have to make a zero in the triangular formations. So when you make the zeros by the reducing, basically that time you have to multiply some of the rows, and then you can reduce the values from row 1 to row 3, or row 3 minus row 1. Somehow you have to in the corner, any corner you can take it, especially in the left bottom corner, you make 3 zeros. So when these zeros are formation of triangle formation, then you can straight away derive the values of the matrix values. So that way you can X, Y, Z values you can identify. So this is another process. So 3 processes are there that you keep in mind in the matrix. There are one is the grammar rules, inverse matrix, and your reducing process. And some of the thing you can footnotes you have to remember rank matrix. What is the rank? If your determinant is 0, then there is no value is there. Then you can say straight away you can rank is -1. Suppose there are 3 into 3 rows, so you can say the rank is 2. Or suppose 4 into 4 uh, matrices are there, so then you can say rank is 3. But if the determinant value is not 0, it is some value is coming, then stated rank will not change, same thing will come. If it is the 3 to 3 rows, 3 to 3 matrix, then rank will be 3 only. So that you have to remember, it is a theory part only. And one numerical can come also, you have to prove it that what is the rank is. Then we can shift to, but nothing else. Actually, now the matrix chapter is this much only. Uh, then I can discuss about mathematical inductions. So mathematical inductions normally we have discussed about some of the how to calculate it. And there are some processes are there. Your steps are basically the steps are there. That steps you have to maintain it. You make the n value first is 1, considering the value is 1. Then in the second step, you take the consider value, n value should be k. Then in the third steps, you have to put the value of k plus 1. So this is the way you can identify it. And finally, you have to see left hand side and right hand side is equal. Then you can declare it that it is completed. Means it is successfully you have completed the induction process. So that is the only 3 steps are there in the induction process. Nothing are there. Okay. Then we have discussed induction process only one step. Uh, this thing only there. Maybe there will be some series are there. Series means in the sense of 1, plus 4 plus 7. This is the way the some series is given, and uh, some 2n minus 1, like this it is given actually. So you are concerned about the n, where the n terms are given. So during the process, so first you take the value of n value as a 1, considering the 1. You put the, instead of n, just put a 1 and see what it is really matching or not. Your series started from the value are same or not. When it is the same, then you can declare the first step is correct, true. First step is true. Then you go for the second step. Second step is what happened? You just consider as a key. Then one equation will formation. One equation will be there. Then you can take it to the equation number 1, something. Then third step, you have to put k plus 1. Instead of n, just put a k plus 1. But in the third step, you have to remember it. You have to complete, you have to write what are the equation is given. This equation is given. That should be there. Plus additional k plus 1 will be there. Finally, you have to equate the left hand side and right hand side is same. Then you can conclude the induction process is complete, successfully complete. Okay. So that is a, as such, there is no formula, only tricks and techniques you have to keep in mind. Okay. What I am telling you all this right now, we're discussing, it may be in the online questions, maybe in the MCQ questions, or maybe in the theory, or when you are doing the numericals also. This process you have to keep in mind. See, if you note down somewhere what I am telling, what are the formulas, you can list it or something. So induction process, mathematical inductions, so there is no as such, no formula is there. Only you have to remember the procedure. If you remember the procedure, then you can automatically do it. Because the equation is given, only you have to put the values only. So induction, mathematical induction is very short. One question will come it. So far, determinant I have discussed, matrix I have discussed, and induction, mathematical induction also I have discussed. So 5 plus 5, in the matrix there are 2 questions. So now 20 question marks already I have discussed. So if you do this up to the this portion, so you will get 15 to 20 marks easily. Okay. Then I can go for sequence and series. Now after that, in routine, if any doubts, you can ask me.
So just one request.
Yeah.
Sir, is it possible, because whatever you are explaining, you can show in the dashboard?
Yeah. Already, actually, I have joined a little late now. Already, I have discussed. Already, I am declared. After that, I show one my presentation also. So, if you listen carefully, there are 2 things. When I am listening, telling something, that is the theoretical part. Then same thing, I will go for the presentation also. Same thing I will repeat again through presentation. Then it will be more clear. Repetition, but it will be more clear. Okay, just you wait for some time, then automatically everything will be come to your mind. So don't worry. I will explain through this presentation also. What I am telling now, it is not enough. Not stop here. Again, I will repeat it. Maybe tomorrow again I will repeat it. In the end of the class, again I will repeat it. Slowly, the mathematics system is like this cycle. If I repeatedly tell you all these things, automatically it will be remembered in mind. In the time of exam, you will see, even though if I'm not studying, only the class session, if you listen very carefully, automatically it will come in your exam hall also. All the formulas, all the steps automatically come in your mind. Just you listen, patiently you listen. I will tell one by one everything. I will repeat 10 times, 15 times I will repeat it. Okay? No problem. Now, actually I have some plan, so let me go according my plan only, because already I have seen students' conditions. So don't worry. So now after that I have to go for series, the sequence and series. Sequence and series is very nothing else there. Actually, there are some sort of arithmetic progressions, geometric progressions, and HP progressions. that during the class I have discussed your uh, AP. AP series, what happened? You just have some formations are there. Okay. In this case, some formula is there. Which formula that when I will show the slides, then it will automatically it will come to your mind. Then uh, with the AP series, where we just show you some of the series are value of the series and particular terms. Basically, you just remember it. Particular terms you have to identify. Suppose there are first term, second term, third term, seven terms, eight terms. So how to derive the terms, that is important. Just time being, you just keep it in mind. In the AP series, we are finding out the terms. Other inputs will be given there. Okay. And the GP also same thing, geometric progressions, formula will be different. In this case, it is a ratio. In the AP case, there is a no ratio, but in the GP, there is a ratio. Just keep in mind the ratio. Other way I can say it, in the AP, there is a common distance are there. Suppose for 1, 4, 7, automatically you just see there are three differences. When a common difference is 3. Or if I say 1, 2, 2, 4, 6, 8, the common difference is 2. When D is equal to 2. A. A means first terms. So you have to identify the sum or maybe in the 8 terms. So that way. In GP, there are the formula is ratio formula. In that case, the ratio difference is given, you have to identify it in terms of R, not D. So in the case of GP, we are considering the R. How to derive the R? That is actually you have to do it. Now coming to the HP. HP, harmonic progressions, they are reciprocal of the AP. So they have to consider it reciprocal of the AP, where 1 pi, suppose 1, 4, 7 is given. Hello Ajay, you want to say something? Ajay, Ajay KS. Hello Ajay,
Yes, sir.
you want to say something? Your mic is on.
No, sir, no, sir.
So then you mute sometime. Mute it. And anyway, so HP is nothing, only reciprocal of AP. Basically, what are the procedure? Same procedure you have to do it in the case of HP. But finally, you have to reciprocal it. I mean, 1 pi should be there. Then it will be a HP formation. That also I will show you one example. Then it will be very easy. Just to remember the things. Then after that, we then series. Okay. And now we have to say some complex numbers. Complex number actually we have discussed regarding the root 1 or the iota, that is the I factors. So complex numbers where the numbers are equations are in a complex nature, some real part and some imaginary part. So how to derive the imaginary part, that is the technique. In this case, some conjugate is there. That one or two example also I show you. So you have to remember it in the complex number. Basically, we are talking about the iota, I square, or I value, how to remove the I value, and what are the type of process so that I can we can sum these things. Suppose the complex number, how to sum, how to add it, how the product of the complex numbers, and division of the product complex numbers, how to derive it. So 3-4 types are there. Not such formula is there, only algebraic system are there. You have to multiplication, maybe the in the denominator sub 1 plus root 3, same thing you have to multiply it in the both the side, and you have to calculate it so that you can reduce the square of and value will come. So this way the complex number we have discussed. Then equations and inequalities also we have discussed. There actually you see the value limit. What are the portions? You can see the left hand side and right hand side the values. We can identify it. So that part also I have to show you. Okay? One or two example. Again, I have to recap. Then calculus part is there. Differential calculus and integral calculus also I have discussed. Differential calculus and integral calculus basically is the anti-differentials. Integration is integrating the small derivatives. We can integrate it, or we can say there are number of functions we can accumulate. That is integration part. The differentiation is just reverse. What are the integrated functions we can piece? You can split up by in terms of dx. So d by dx function of something plus dy dx another functions d by dx another functions. So we can split it up by the derivatives. So that is a formula is there, as you know, n into h to the power n minus 1. That is your uh, differentiation part, single formula, and you can derive it. In the case of integrations, we have seen is the reverse. That case formula is x to the power n plus 1 divided by n plus 1. That is the your integration part. And in this case, integration symbols are important. And when you complete the process, plus C is required. C, you have to require C. So if you not put the plus C, then it will not a complete integration part. So anyway, so I think almost I have given some clues, and I think that is not a complete revision, because math is such a subject you have to do yourself. Until and unless you do, it will not be complete things. So let's show my some different determinant. I show one, matrix I show one. So one things I have to show you, and you just try to clarify. In between, if any problems, you can discuss with me. So let's go for the. By the time I think in the chat box, your roll number, whatever it is, you write as usual, so that in the end of the class I can take a copy of this for your attending purposes. Okay. So now I have to go for. Before start, if any doubts, specific doubts, tell me. I will go sequence wise, one by one, determinant and matrix, what I discussed, or in between majority, what you're saying, because this process is correct or not. Because everybody have a different problems, I know. So I am taking my own, so that should cover up everything. Okay, I think what the way actually I am moving, it is correct or not? Because question may be different. Everybody's mind are different question. Some students may know the determinant very well. Some students don't know. Some students in confusion in the matrix. Some students may be not understanding the integral properly. It will be there. So I think better I can show one by one example of all. That is good, na?
Okay, sir.
आर्यन ठीक है? ओके, तो हम लोग
सर
रवीना बोलो.
सर ये कॉम्प्लेक्स नंबर में ना थोड़ा सा मतलब प्रॉब्लम होता है, ये क्वेश्चन नहीं बन पाता है, तो इस चैप्टर को फिर से रिपीट कर देते हैं.
ठीक है, अभी तुम्हें थोड़ा बहुत बताया ना, हल्का सा बताया.
हाँ.
तो वो मैं अभी जब एग्जांपल दिखाई ना एक एक करके, तो और
Yes,
क्लियर
sir.
हो जाएगा.
ओके
तो
सर.
मैं वो समझ गया, मैंने किसी को कॉम्प्लेक्स में तो बेटर क्या है, अभी जो भी है, मैं वेक्टर का तो चैप्टर थोड़ा छोटा है, इसलिए मैंने आज रखा रिपीट के लिए. तो टेस्ट फेस एग्जाम बाद में लेंगे, वो तो देखा जाएगा. जब तक आप लोग तैयारी नहीं होंगे टेस्ट देके क्या करोगे, है ना? तो आज मैंने जो बात है ना,
कॉम्प्लेक्स नंबर से ना मतलब हर एक एग्जाम में ये क्वेश्चन पूछा गया हुआ है.
पूछा गया, करेक्ट, मैंने देखा मैंने.
Yes.
सो मैं डिटर्मिनेंट का एक छोटा सा सैंपल दिखा रहा था, क्विकली एक एक करके मैं दिखा देता हूँ. तो आई थिंक इस तरह का किसी का मन में कुछ है, दुविधा है, तो जरूर मुझे पूछे. इससे मेरा सुविधा होगा कि अब मेरे को करना क्या है ना. सो मैं फर्स्ट क्लास में जिस जो भी है वो क्विकली मैं रिवाइज कर देता हूँ. आपका सारा मैं देखिए सारे आपका क्लास का सब वेरीफाई कर रखिए. 5 तारीख को डिटर्मिनेंट पढ़ा था, कब मैट्रिक्स है, इंडक्शन प्रोसेस, एवरीथिंग आर इन ए प्रोसेस में. तो मैं आपको उस हिसाब से दिखाता हूँ. डिटर्मिनेंट मैं जस्ट वही सेम थिंग मैं आपको रिपीट कर रहा हूँ. स्पेशल नंबर है. देखिए डिटर्मिनेंट इज स्पेशल number associated with a square matrix. So it may be a question. So determinant जो है स्क्वायर मैट्रिक्स तो होना ही है एक कंडीशन. दूसरा इसमें से हम लोग जो है ये लीनियर इक्वेशंस कंडीशन के लिए डिटर्मिनेंट इज वेरी यूजफुल. Then I can important point. Anyway, इसमें ऐसा कुछ है नहीं. जो भी है आपको पढ़ लेंगे. मेन चीज इसको आपको केयरफुली ऑब्जर्व करना है कि डिटर्मिनेंट हमेशा एक स्क्वायर मैट्रिक्स के साथ रिलेटेड. दैट इज वन पॉइंट. एंड वैल्यू आपको देखिए ये फाइंड द इन्वॉल्व फॉर इक्वेशन सच एज मैट्रिक्स and learn to matrix and determinant, and finally it is a complete value. Finding the तो ये सब चीज़ें आपको मैं डिटर्मिनेंट मानते हैं. देन गो फॉर एग्जाम्पल. So determinant में see the statement. Now this is the determinant. In this case, it is only a square matrix but 2 into 2. When this type of thing, simply you multiply A11 and A22, you multiply. This is called the principal diagonal. It's principal diagonal. Minus this is the off diagonal. A21 into A1. Okay. A11, A12, A22 is a principal product, and that is your. So this is a determinant in case of order 2. Now coming to this is one of the example, and the determinant simply you multiply 4 into minus 3 minus 5 into minus 6. That's all. And what are the values is coming? That is 23. So in case of 2 into 2, 2 order matrix, that case you can determine it this way. Now let's see the 3. In case of 3, order 3 determinant, so this case you have to, what are the elements? First element A11 that come in here, and balance after crossing the, after covering the first row and column, including first element A11, the balance part will be there, that you can write it here, and cross the multiplications. And product of this principal diagonal and minus of diagonal. So then after the same process. And A12 is coming the next element, and A13 is coming the third element. So only first row we are considering in the case of determinant, not all. Just you remember it, in the determinant, only first row we are considering, not all elements. Okay. And another thing you have to remember it should be plus, then minus, then plus. That's all. So if it is something the minus sign is here, so definitely sign will be changed because of the sign things. That you have to be careful about. In this case, there is a no sign change, so that is so it is in the this value are from the in third order. This is the system. Now you can see one example. Third. So anyway, this is the next level. Now go for inverse matrix. So when you go for inverse matrix, first, whatever the given in the question, that is the formula. A inverse is equal to adjoint A divided by. This thing you have to remember somehow. Simply inverse का formula. That's all. In this formula, two things you have to derive: adjoint A and determinant. So ये दोनों चीज जैसे आपको निकल जाएगा, आप फॉर्मूला में लगा दीजिए and you will get the values. So as usual, determinant. So determinant in this case, same formula, that is element of the first row of first element is bahar आएगा, and then balance whatever it is here, minus and plus whatever it is. So this is the formation of third order cases determinant when you got it 21. So determinant is 21. That value you have 21. Now we have to derive the adjoint A. So for that cofactor is required, particular all the elements. You see there are total 9 elements. 1, 2, 5, 2, 3, 1, and minus 1, 1. There are total 9 elements. So you have to derive the all cofactors. There will be 9 cofactors. So where the underline is there, that is one cofactor, another cofactor, another cofactor. And second row, this is another cofactor, another cofactor, another cofactor. And then third row like this. So there are, you see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 9. And symbol sign is also already changed, is a plus, minus, and plus, minus, then plus, then minus. So sign has changed. And if in between another sign has come in because of this multiplication, that you have to consider it and you have to change it accordingly. So what are the value is coming? Now one thing you have to be very careful about in the case of cofactor, elements are not coming in the outside. Elements is not coming in the outside, that you have to. Okay. So that you have to be careful about it, that there should be no element, only inside values are coming. And after getting these values, now adjoint. Adjoint is basically the transpose of the row and column. So in this case, what are the values coming? 2, minus 3, and 5. But when you are putting in the form of transpose matrix, then 2, 3, 5, 2, 3, 2, 3, 5 in the this case it is 2, 3, 5 with change, interchange. Okay. So 2, 3, minus 13 are in the row in this case. Here actually same thing is written, you see 2, minus 3 and 5. 2, minus 3 and 5. And the second, plus 3, 3, 6, 9, 3, 6, 9. Is it? 3, 6, minus 3. So whatever it is, first thing, whatever the way you are giving the figure, same thing you can write it. Then put a T and change it. Row and column are interchanging here. 2, minus 3, 5 is row. Now in this case, it is now column. It is converted. So that you have to convert it. Once it is converted, need not to write a t. So t ka काम खत्म. So t, don't write the t. It is already transpose. That is basically your adjoint A. So adjoint A is equal to these things. So first part, bottom part already you have derived 1 by 21, and adjoint A is also already you have derived. So they have both the values you can put it here, and you can whatever the values are coming. That is your inverse matrix. So okay. Now another thing I can show you. So here something is given. That is the equations is given. First, what are the system equation is given? Then that equation you can put in a formation. I mean, split in other way. So in this here, you have to find out the determinant D. So you can take a 0, and it is a printing mistake. It should be 1, as I told you earlier. It's the 1, 0, and 6, 6 minus 3, 6, 6 minus 3. Only the digit. Y portion why not take it? So only this part you can take it from the equation, and you finally get the determinant is 0. Okay. So then you can find out the, you can put in the gamma rules. So this D is minus 36. Now D1, another determinant you have to do it based on the gamma rule. That D1, during this D1, the figure has changed. You see 6, 3, and minus 3 is remains same. First two column is same, but first column has interchange. First column is replaced by your this value 2, 3, and 5 minus 5. What are the values are given? So 2, 3, and 5. Correct. So 2, 3, and 5 you can put in the first row when you are considering a D1, and then finally you can determine it. Now when you are talking about the D2, then second column change. So this value will come in the second column, and first column and third column is remain same, no changes. So we have to calculate. Then you can finally Now in case of D3, same thing. The last column has changed, and finally. Now this is the formula y1, y2, and y3. You have to derive it. That y1, y2, y3 from where? You see the question. I mean in the here y1, y2, and y3 is there in the solution, the questions. So that is the part is there. So that we have to identify it. If the question is x, y, z, then you have to go for x, y, z. So y1 is equal to d1 by t. Instead of 1, you can write dy1, dy2, dy3, whatever it is, you can write, no problem. Or in case of x, y, z, you can write x, y, z, dx, dy, dz, depending on the questions. So finally you can calculate it. This is the value. You can write y value is this, y2, and y2 value. So this is your gamma. Now inverse matrix already I have discussed. Inverse already I have shown this thing. This is the only formula. And now coming to reducing process. Same questions in the Quiz Jordan method or reducing process. You see here actually you have to make a triangle in the last. To make a triangle, this is the triangle formation here. So when you are make a triangle formation, then you can identify the values. So for that, maybe you have to interchange the rows, maybe you have to add something in the third row, and finally see somehow you have to calculate and you make it 0. That is the idea. Once you prepare the 0, then you will substitute the values, and y2, y1 the values are coming. So this is the way of reducing process. Now unique thing is here actually it may be a question in the MCQ type. value are same. Whatever the grammar rules, inverse matrix, and your reducing process, the Jordan process, you see same question, but you see the it is the interesting thing. ये देखने का चीज है, कहीं भी प्रोसेस में जाओ, रिजल्ट सेम है. देखो मैं बताता हूँ. एक क्वेश्चन था, दैट इज द क्वेश्चन. ये क्वेश्चन का क्वेश्चन क्या था? दिस इज द क्वेश्चन. Okay, this is your equation is given, linear equations, and all this process shown. First, देखिए क्रैमर रूल में क्या रिजल्ट आया था? क्रैमर रूल में रिजल्ट आया था 1 minus 1.33, sorry, 1 minus 1.33 and 1. Now see inverse matrix में क्या रिजल्ट आया? Same thing, 1 minus 1.33 and what is this 1. Now see the Jordan process. इसमें क्या क्या वैल्यू आया? सेम थिंग 1 minus 1.33 1. इससे क्या होता है? इससे क्या साबित होता है? Any linear equations, when you go for the identify the values through matrix, so whatever the way matrix, grammar rule, Jordan process, inverse rule, value will be the same. ये प्रूव हो गया, चाहे किसी भी प्रोसेस में आप करें. सो आजकल तो नहीं आता, पहले एक बार क्वेश्चन आया था, जो क्वेश्चंस दे दिया था लीनियर इक्वेशंस, मैट्रिक्स डू इन एनी प्रोसेस. So that time, whatever the procedure you feel, you can do it by grammar rules or inverse matrix or Jordan. If the option is given, the student can do any process. So जो process आपको ठीक लगे आप कर सकते हैं, value the same है. Or if the mention is inverse matrix, then there is no way out. You have to do it by inverse matrix. और सपोज द क्वेश्चन आ गया ग्रामर रूल्स, तो आपको ग्रामर रूल में करना पड़ेगा. बेस्ट इज तीनों प्रोसेस को ही आपको अच्छे से करिए, और अगर ऑप्शन क्वेश्चन दे दिया कहीं भी प्रोसेस में करो तो रिजल्ट सेम ही आएगा. क्वेश्चन में स्टूडेंट को कोई भी प्रोसेस में कर सकते हैं, बट नॉर्मली मेंशन हो रहा है, आपको मेंशन करते हैं. सो आई थिंक दिस ऑल इन द मैट्रिक्स में कुछ नहीं है. सो determinant and matrix finish. Now next, go for mathematical induction. I just show you one of the example, that is sufficient. This is your example. So 1 cube plus 2 cube plus 3 cube is given. This is your equation is given. First you consider a is equal to 1. First step. Then put the values as 1. This is your question. If we put a 1, and here is also 1 by 1 square means nothing, 1 square, then 1 plus 1 square. So ultimately if you calculate it, this is 1 is coming. So that means this part में हमने क्या देखा? 1 is equal to 1. Just considering this part. So in cube is equal to जो भी वैल्यू आ रहा है 1 into 1, और सीरीज स्टार्टेड बाई 1 1 सो वी कैन से इट इज ट्रू. अगर इसमें सेम नहीं है, सपोज अनदर वैल्यू इज कमिंग, तो आप कह नहीं सकते ट्रू. तो पहला स्टेप, फर्स्ट स्टेप इज प्रूव्ड. Now go to second step. Second step pk. What are the value? Just k instead of so instead of n you have to put a k. So simply you just k रिटर्न कर दिए, ये आपका एक इक्वेशन बन गया. That is equation number 1. Now after that this is for k plus 1 third step. So value has changed. You see this part is already here. Before equal to another k plus 1 square. A में just बार बार बोला चला था, A मिस हो जाता है स्टूडेंट्स को. So the up to these two लिखना ही है. But A another k plus 1 equals to k plus 1 cube, a cube series आ रहा है ना, ये लिखना है. Previous terms also you have to write, and you just add another terms k plus 1 cube. That terms you are adding, and here actually just value of k और आपने रिप्लेस किया, जस्ट वैल्यू आपने चेंज किया. इन दिस केस इन द इक्वल टू के बाद 1/4 के स्क्वायर का जगह में k plus 1 स्क्वायर, इधर k plus 1, तो k plus 1 plus 1 तो 2 हो गया, तो k plus 2 स्क्वायर. ये आपका एडिशनल ऐड हुआ है, ये आपको ध्यान रखना है, बस दैट्स ऑल. देन यू कैन लेफ्ट हैंड साइड. Left hand side, this is total left hand side, 1 cube plus 2 cube plus 3 cube plus dot 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 plus k cube plus k plus 1 cube. That is total left hand side, and it is the right hand side, 1/4 k plus 1 square and k plus 2 whole square. That is your right hand side. Now if we see we now consider the left hand side. आपको लेफ्ट हैंड साइड लेके चलना है, धीरे 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 करते करते आपको अगर ये वाला वैल्यू आ गए, then we can say left hand side and right hand side बराबर है. तो वही हमको देखना है. तो देखिए कैसे हुआ, ये लेफ्ट हैंड साइड को मान के चलना है, राइट हैंड साइड को नहीं लिखना है क्योंकि वो प्रूव करना है. दिस वैल्यू लिख दिया. नाउ हियर अप टू दिस जो ब्रैकेट पे डाला गया ये वाला पोर्शन ऑलरेडी है, ये हम लिख सकते हैं दिस वैल्यू, बिकॉज ये ऑलरेडी है ना, सेम वैल्यू है, ये आपको यहीं पर पुट करना है. 1/4 k स्क्वायर ब्रैकेट k plus 1 स्क्वायर, बिकॉज इस जगह में हमने क्या किया, पूरा ये वाला वैल्यू लिख लिया. प्रूफ करना है मुझे ये वाला, ये प्रूफ नहीं करना, ये तो ऑलरेडी है. तो ये वाला क्वेश्चन मैंने यहीं पर लिखा प्लस k plus 1 क्यूब. ओके, देन इसके बाद आप इसमें कॉमन फैक्टर ले लीजिए, सिंपल सॉल्यूशन करते रहिए. सॉल्यूशन के बाद फाइनली आप देखिए दिस इज द वैल्यूज का जो राइट हैंड साइड के साथ बराबर हो गए. व्हेन इट इज इक्वल टू राइट हैंड साइड वी कैन डिक्लेयर दैट इज राइट हैंड साइड इक्वल. सो लेफ्ट हैंड साइड राइट हैंड साइड इज इक्वल. ओके, इफ एनीबॉडी वांट्स टू से समथिंग. हेलो हेलो, हु इज ऑन द लाइन? Hello. Okay, maybe some. Sorry. So I think it is clear now. Finally, you have to write that it shows your result is whole good. So finally, the induction process, mathematical induction process have been completed. ये आपको लिखना है. That's all. The induction process of partitioning हो गया. Now coming to इंडक्शन प्रोसेस के बाद हम जाएंगे सीक्वेंस एंड सीरीज. ओके, you see in this case this is the formula Sn is equal to n/2 2a plus n minus 1 d. Okay. Just 1 minute. So here actually Sn is equal to n by 2 in bracket formula is 2a plus n minus 1t. Okay, so now this is the formula. In this formula you see a is given, a is 22 is already given, d is equal to minus 4 is also given, and Sn is also given 64. So if you put all this figure you can put it, then you can, and after that equation is there, and you can get. So only this formula you have to remember it in case of sum. In case of sum. Okay. And then after that simple algebra formula you can find. And that is the GP. In case of GP, this is a formula. This is the formula. Sum GP sum formula S is equal to A by 1 by R. R is the basically your the ratio is given. The ratio is given. This is the A is 28. 28 is given, and your fourth term is given. The fourth term is given. Fourth term is the formula is A R to the power 3 is equal to 4 by 14. That's your fourth terms. First terms, second terms, and fourth terms. So R is defined. R is equal to 1 by 7. When you get the R value, you can put it here. So A you know, A value is there, and R value is there. Then you can get it. This is the way you can GP comes. Now harmonic. Harmonic progression, that is your HP. HP is used 1 by 7, then 1 by 15, 1 by 23, and 1 by 31. It is given. So you have to identify the 10th terms. So when you identify the 10 terms, so then initially you have to do it by the AP formula, AP series. So when you do the AP series, that is the formula is AP A plus n minus 1 to d. That is the formula of AP series, where A is given 7. You take the bottom one, forget about the 1, just you take the denominator, and 7, 15, 23, 31 you can write, and do it as per the AP series formations. So then what are the results is coming in the 10th position, 79, then you put a 1 by reciprocal. So it is automatically converted as a harmonic progression. So do it AP and finally with 1 by. So this is your harmonic progressions. Another formula is GP, same thing. This is given. So as already I have discussed, just I show for remembering all these things. So HP, AP and harmonic तीनों को मैंने दिखा दिया आपको एक एक करके रिविजन हो जाएगा. This is AP, another one is AP. Just see it. This is the way you can do it. Like this. Okay, then all this is also. Now coming to complex numbers. During the complex number, you see the iota, you have to remember the iota. That is the important thing. Who is the iota? Iota is actually -1. That you have to remember it. And the value of iota is important. Then you can go for here. I can give you another example. Yes. So addition. There are two complex numbers, Z1 and Z2, and you have to see the addition, Z1 plus Z2. So in this case, it's a multiplication of both the things. And you see here 2 and 3, 2 plus 3, you can take it out, plus what the imaginary part you can put in another part. So finally you can get 5 plus I. So this is your addition. In case of addition, you have to be careful about it. And if Z1 is 3 and Z2, so Z1 plus Z2, you can get another one. So this is the way at the time of addition. Now subtraction of complex numbers. So there's Z1 minus Z2. What happened? Same thing as usual. That what are the figures are -2 and -4? You can take it out. You can take it out in one bracket, and plus what are the imaginary part, plus 3 iota and -5 iota. You can put another part, and iota is common. So finally it is -2 and 3. Sorry, here actually it is a -2 and 3. So I did -6 and 2y. So -5, right? And it is 2y. Okay, I think it is something 2 plus 4 is 6 minus 6, and here is a -2. So so far we have discussed about the addition and subtraction. This is the way you have to add it. Simply nothing is, only the real part is real part, one bracket, and imaginary part is the other. Now multiplication. At the time of multiplication, you have to be careful about the things. So in this case, you see real part multiplied by real part, and imaginary part multiplied by the imaginary part in this case. So this is the way it is going, multiplications. And take the iota. This is ultimately what happened. Addition, subtraction, multiplication, main idea is in the complex number, you just segregate the real part and your imaginary part. It should be easily identified. Then division of complex. Suppose at the time of division, so Z1 minus Z2, there are two complex number, and how to do it. In that case, we can Z2 we can write is a Z2 minus 1, same thing, or we can write Z1 in bracket 1 by Z2, same thing. So this is the way you can represent it at the time of division, and accordingly you can multiply it. So Z1 into 1 by Z2, this is the way. There are one matrix, there is another matrix. So how to multiply it? You see, this is the multiplication time. You have to carefully simply here actually simply by 1. So LCM. That's simply LCM. You can do it, and you will get these things. Both the figure is coming. So in this case, conjugate basically here 1 minus 2i and 1 minus 2 iota. These part are addition. You can multiply here in the top and bottom also. So you can get it like this. So in the division time, just careful about this thing. So there are four things: addition, division, multiplication, division, and so if you remember this thing, you can do it anyway. Conjugate is one part that is already I have told you. That conjugate is nothing. If it is your complex number is a plus iota b, then conjugate will be a minus. Only the sign has changed. Other things remain same. Okay? And you can see the how to express the standard formation, that is 1 by 3 minus 4i. So you conjugate by take a plus and ऊपर नीचे दोनों जगह में आप मल्टीप्लाई कर दीजिए, and after the things you can get it. Okay? So this is the way you can do it the complex number. So now then coming to here. This is of the I think equation. In this case, you see how to make it. This is x value, and linear equation has two variables. It may be three variables, but in this case, it's two variables only, and the things are there. So you can see the equality, how the part is there, and you can curve it. How to plot the figures this way based on the value. Only the symbol you have to be careful about it. When you are graphically representing, the value are changing or not. So in case of multiplication, only the figures change. Anyway, that if any doubts, we can discuss also later on, no problem. And then there is only one formula is there that I think we have discussed. Limit also we have discussed. It's basically towards what are the value of x3, that x3 only you have to put it up. I think the differential I can my document. Okay. Yeah. Simply dy by dx log. Here at your dy by dx, this formula is there in the log formula. Which one the other one? Yeah, that is a formula that I've given. This is all this formula is here. Here actually formula number 2 and 3 is important. Dy dx, all this formula you can get in the your study material also. That integration formula and differential formula. You can okay. Anyway, I think I have to almost I've revised most of the things. If required, I can discuss next to next class also. Another 2-3 classes there. So then tomorrow I maybe repeat some of the things also. So now I go for vector. Actually, some of the things I should say as a very small unit, but still. Yes. Today, so far I have revised, tried to revise you. Maybe it will take more time. Now, vector, we are just coming to vector only. The important characteristics of a vector quantity is that it has magnitude and directions. We know there are two things. One is scalar, one is vector. Vector, there are magnitude is there and directions also there. But in case of scalar, there is no direction. Magnitude is both the cases. So magnitude in the case of size. Yeah. Direction means it is a negative side or positive or in the angle formation. So vector is always a uh, considering the both the things. So things to be learned, क्या क्या हम लोग को सीखना है इसमें से, how to write the down vectors, then your how to add the substitution then, and how to use the geometry also. So there are three ways we can do it. Vector is the quantity with magnitude and the directions. Example: velocity, acceleration, then your momentum, forces, electric and magnetic field. These all are your vector quantities. Okay, that we have already studied in the physics. Isn't it? Direction of the vector is indicated by the arrow. Normally, we are putting an arrow. So vector को हम represent करते हैं arrow दिखाते. We can put a arrow and tails in the head. And that is the this is a head portion where the head there is the arrow, and it is a, so in case of suppose A and B, so A point and B point, so we can write a B. Arrow should be from A to B. Okay? So that is the representation of vectors. So vector formation A to B, we can represent this way. So now other thing is important, and the length or magnitude of the vector is expressed. If suppose in this case, when you are expressing with a magnitude, length and magnitude both, length or any magnitude, so we can put a some mode that this bar should be there. It means here is some length is there, magnitude is there. Vectors with a length. Now in case of scalar is a real number and it is expressed in scalar. This is mass, volume, temperature, density, electric charges, watt. These are all in the scalar. Now how to represent? Suppose there are some points. Suppose the -1 and 3, this is a 1 point. It has started from here and after to reach to here. So that time another point has reached. It started from here. There's a u vector. Suppose, for example, u vector. That is that time it was coordinate is -1 and 3. This is a coordination, x and y coordinations. Because it is this side is minus and y is 3 positive, 3. So and finally reached here. Another vector that is v, small v, that is u and v, that is another vector. It is started from here and reached here. So the coordination is accordingly. And w is the another vector. So u, v, w, there are three vectors. Their starting point and finishing point has given. So how to measure the magnitude? How to length? Basically, length of the vectors. So there are three vectors u, v, w. Now you see the formula. So u vector. When you put a bar, means this vector with magnitude. Vector with magnitude. So root over, there actually formula is 2 minus -1 means the value of x, finished value is 2 minus 1. That is your prediction. Plus 4 minus 3. So it is the x value and this is a y value. So x value x1 minus x2, you can consider that way. But the only thing you have to see carefully, -1, -2, no. You have to take finished value. Actually, it is started from here and finish here. So this is a head and this is a tail. Suppose if you put a arrow, this is a head and this is a tail. So you take the value of finish point and starting point. You can remember in this way. So see the second one. It has started from here 0 and reached here. So it is v vectors. So you have to take this way. This is the value of 0 minus 3 and 0 minus 1. and then after that the value is coming this way. When you take the W value, W is again 4 minus 1, 4 minus 1 square. And this is the formula. Basically, it is a x square plus y square. This is a formula. Suppose if you consider it as a x and y by x1 and x2, so same thing with the find the value of magnitude of these things. So use all vectors u, w, v are shown in the same platform. Okay. Now, how to identify the slope? Slope is equal to p, that is 4 minus 3, this value, when square the 4 minus 3, okay. 4 minus 3 and 2 minus 1, 2 minus 1, so this is your slope in the case, okay. And finally, so 1/3 is your slope. Direction cosine, another way direction cosine rule refers. In the case of direction cosines, the cosine of the three angle between the two vectors. There are two vectors f1 and f2. So in between some angle will be there. How to derive the angle? That is given here. Suppose this p f1 is 15. Suppose this is a 15, and that is 25. So first is magnitude of the v or length of the v, whatever it is. That is x square plus y square, means if the value is like this. So 15 square plus 250, both the axis values. So we can get the value of v 27.0. Now cosine in this case was sine value. The sum of the two vectors is called the resultant. Now we are finding out the result. This is the resultant. You can get it. Now tan theta in this case 15 by, that is this height divided by base. So tan, actually as we know, the tan is always perpendicular by base. So this is a 15 by 25. The tan value is coming. So tan theta is, we can identify here. Theta is tan inverse. Theta is tan inverse. The theta value of 15 by 25. So if you derive it, you can get the value of 0.6. Means is a minus 31 degree. That you can, by the calculator, you can do it, no problem. In the exam, calculator is allowed, so no problem, you can do it through the calculator also. So another things I can show you. Yes, another part. Suppose there are 2 points as given. If the position vectors of the point x03, the position vector कैसे निकालना है? So x square plus y square plus z square, the value is given. So and 5 in this case, the magnitude is 5 is given. So OP is already given in the question. OP 5. So 5 is equal to root over this value. I can put it here: x square, 0 square, and 3 square. This is the formula. So if you square both the sides, then that is 25, and this square is vanished, x square. 0 is nothing, and it is 9. And finally you can get it the x value. So this is the way you can see it. And another thing is add the value of another two vectors. Suppose there are two vectors, a and b vectors. How to add it? So there are two vectors you can add it. Vector is given, a vector is given, and b vector is given. So that is I, j, k. It is all a constant part, imaginary part you can say. So 4i and minus plus minus 2i. So ultimately it is a minus, so 2i is ultimately here. It is a plus because you have to add it, plus because of the minus sign, so ultimately it is 2. then -3, and then +5. Again, it is a 2y. And here is 1k, and it is 3k, so total is 4k. So you can add it simply. Then after that, you take the magnitude of both the vectors. And same formula, you can put it here. Already you have added, and then take the magnitude. So first is add, and then magnitude. Similarly, subtraction, minus. Same process you can do it. You can minus first. First all, you have to add both all the vectors, and then take the magnitude. Magnitude is nothing, square it of x square plus y square plus z square, both are in this figure 6, then 8, then 3, like that. You will get this. When you squaring off, all the imaginary part is going off, not vanish, because this is all a squaring, then value is -1. So ultimately it is, when you 1, when you square it up, -1, when you square it, ultimately 1. So 6 is only 6 into 1, 6 square into 1 to 6, -8 square into 1, ultimately same. So that value automatically converted is a 1, because we know I is equal to root over -1, or I can say I square is equal to -1, or j square, small j square is equal to -1, k square is equal to -1. So when you square it up, then automatically simply 1 is coming, because -1, if you square, -1 if you square is equal to ultimately 1. So that's why automatically it is vanished. Now it is removed. Only the figure is coming. So, and that is the purpose of squaring it, because if I not square the things, then I will not get the figure, because you have to remove all this imaginary part. So by the squaring only we can do it. So this is the way you can see the vectors, or what are the vectors are here. You have how to add it and how to subtract it. Now another thing is the unit vector. So unit vector, how to find it out? Find the unit vector of the direction of a vector plus b vectors. So direction is given, and you have to identify the unit vector. Vector is given a and b, and direction is also given. So only you have to identify the. So what happened? First you add it. As usual, you can add the both the vectors simply. 2i plus 2i to 4i, just you add it. Then you take a magnitude, square it up, x square plus y square plus z square. So finally you are getting root over -20. The unit vector is the formula of unit vector. Now you see slowly you are reaching some of the formulas coming. This is the first formula you are coming, that is unit vector in the direction of a plus. So you have to remember it. That is the formula of unit vector. A plus b divided by, that is, it is a vector plus a b vector divided by a vector plus b vectors magnitude. So there are two things. A vector and b vector already have calculated. Okay. And magnitude also you calculated, root over 29. So a plus b, that is this part. This part. Into one, you can write in this way also, or simply you can write this one divided by root over 29, because this part, this is also correct. Or you can write 1 by root over 29 in bracket this part. Basically it is in the upper side, so no problem. The exam, after that straight away you can put, no problem. This part in the upper and this part is the lower. So you can write 4i plus gj minus 2k divided by root 29. No problem. So it is a simple thing. 5 marks are given. Actually, the question, again I am repeating, question is given unit vector and direction of this is given. Both the vector has given. So simply you have to first we add it, Why I am adding? Because direction is given is add. Suppose if the question has changes, unit vector in the direction of a minus b. Suppose it has changed. Then you have to do it a minus b. Just identify the figures and then magnitude of a minus b. You take it, whatever the value is coming. Then you can put it in here. Formula is a plus b, a plus magnitude of this. And that case it will be change a minus b. So find a unit vector, another one. In this case, P and Q joining the points. There are 2 points as given. Now slightly change. Here actually is given direction A plus B is given. But here actually changes now point is given. So P point and Q point. But you have to identify the unit vector only. So no problem. First you identify the PQ. And suppose P point and Q point, the vector, both the vectors. And as you know how it is, simply add it 1 minus 1 and then I in these things. Then after that you can square it off. Then finally you can get it this value. So there are 2 things, PQ and divided by magnitude of PQ. This part only. So first part is वो that is a formula ना. Actually unit vector का जो formula है, these things. Earlier case it was a plus b and these things. But in this case point has given na? And direction of the point has given P into Q. PQ. This means this is the PQ joining point. Not P plus Q because it is a joining point. So as we know how to define, if as per the formula you have to add it and then so the vectors and these are collinear. And there are 2 vectors are given and I have to show both are in the same platform, same linears. Or this to take you that both are vectors and so that in the case of collinear means definitely some similarity will be there. So if you see, it is clear 4i plus 6j minus 2k and it is 2i plus 3k is equal to minus k. So somewhere some similarity is there because if we multiply by 2 it will be 4. If we multiply by 2 we will get 6. So just इसका 2 times ऐसे लगता है. So if we see then we can say vector A is 2 times of vector B is 2 times of vector A. So 2 times of vector A. Is it not? If you multiply it, so same thing is coming. So we can say 2 into vector A. Same thing will come. So now it is clear when this type of situation are coming, we can say the vector B is a scalar multiplication of A and therefore both are in collinear vectors. Okay. Means collinear function, collinear is basically the same nature of vectors. Means suppose one vector is here and this vector is so simply is multiplication of 2 or maybe multiplied with 3. So suppose in the exam, if it is changed something, suppose for example 2i plus 3j is equal to minus k is given and b vectors now I am changing. Suppose I am making the question paper. What I'll do to 3 से multiply करते हैं तो क्या होता है 6. Now 6i plus इसको हम 3 से multiply करेंगे 9. So 9j and इधर हम minus 3 के जगह में 3k. Now we do it. Collinear proof करो. तो then this case आपको क्या हो जाएगा Now you can say, okay, if we, whatever the here, it is almost looking similar. If we multiply 3, then we can get it. So we can write vector B is equal to 3 divided in bracket. Same thing you can write it. Same thing you can write it. Vector A. So we can write is equal to 3 into A vector. So we can say it is a clear, that is scalar multiplications, and we can say vector A and B are collinear. So this is the basic changes can do it in the exam. Okay. So that 3 points. Now that you see, now it is increased. Earlier, so far we have seen there are 2 points, now 3 points. A, B, and C point. A आपको prove करना है, all are collinears. So in this case, what happened? You can see the both. First, take any two collinear, how it has come. So 4, 4, 4, 2 is coming. Then second, alternative. Now you can say vector A and C. वो क्या होता है देखते हैं. Now it is come to K. देखिए, now you see after the multiplication of this vector and this vector, some similarity है. इसमें 2 से हम मल्टीप्लाई करेंगे तो ऑटोमेटिकली 2i है तो 2 4 हो जाएगा, 2 है तो 4 हो रहा है, 1 है तो just changes हो गया, double हो गया. Now both the equation is clear that vector AB and 2 into vector AC are same. So we can say the vector are collinear. Agar need not to identify the AC, because once you are equality between A and B and AC, so C and A also to be there. So CA को निकालना जरूरत नहीं. तो लास्ट another एक यूनिट के एग्जाम में आ चुके थे. Unit vector is the direction of the sum of the vectors is given, the one vector and this two vectors, sum. So answer is first PQ, joining the points. Then first PQ, to identify it, 2, and this is 2 minus 2. So simply you add figures and then you get it. This is your answer. So vector PQ. And you're finding, joining the points, both of these. So in this case, it is direction of the sum of the vectors. Direction of the sum of the vectors. So simply you can do it. So this unit is over. Tomorrow we discuss about the vector 2. Okay, so now tomorrow we'll discuss about the vector 2. That will be more nature of things. There are angle vectors, there are so many other type of vectors. So from this vector 1 and vector 2, we'll get 2 questions. 10 marks will come, definitely. So vector 1 is very easy, nothing is there. You have seen already, it's very simple. But vector 2 is little lengthy because there are so many algebraic functions is there, root functions are there. Formula will be different formula is there. Here actually all are small formulas. So okay, that way I try to recap some of the things, and vector 1 also I have discussed a little bit, and tomorrow I will show more example, more solutions of vectors, then that way it will be complete. So any doubt, any questions in your mind? Everything is okay, I think. Is it understandable what I am saying? It is understand or not?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So any more doubts, anybody's? So कौन था नाम भूल गया. रवीना का कुछ डाउट था रिगार्डिंग द कॉम्प्लेक्स नंबर, क्लियर हुआ?
Yes, sir.
अच्छा यू आर हियर ना रविंद्र कुमार। सो थिंग्स ओनली कंजुगेट क्या करना है, और वो जो आई का वेनिश करना, आई स्क्वायर को आयोटा को कैसे उड़ाना है, बस यही टेक्निक है, कुछ नहीं। जो कि हमने अभी डिस्कस किया, वट एवर आई हैव डिस्कस, इससे बाहर एग्जाम में कोई भी क्वेश्चन नहीं आएगा, 100% श्योर। इतना ही आपने प्रैक्टिस किया बार 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 बार, जो मैंने चर्चा किया, डिटर्मिनेंट, मैट्रिक्स, सीक्वेंस, जो भी है सीरीज, रिडक्शन प्रोसेस, आप लास्ट 5 साल का क्वेश्चन आप छान मारो, देखो इससे बाहर कोई क्वेश्चन आया कि नहीं, नहीं आया है। सो आपको उससे हर यूनिट का 3-3, 4-4 सोल्यूशन तैयारी करना है, प्रैक्टिस करना है, और बार बार उसको करना है, और फॉर्मूला लगाना करना है। फॉर्मूला बार बार ये कह रहा हूँ, कुछ ज़्यादा फॉर्मूला है नहीं, कुल मिला के टोटल 20-25 फार्मूला होंगे। वेक्टर्स में आपको कल जब कराएंगे देखेंगे थोड़ा ज़्यादा फार्मूलाज है, वो याद रखना है। मैट्रिक्स में बहुत ईजी है, एक एक फार्मूला है। तो ऐसे करके आप सारे यूनिट का फार्मूला को इकट्ठा करो, और यूनिट से 2-2, 3-3 सोल्यूशन करते रहो, दैट इज सफिशिएंट। और वॉट एवर आई डिस्कस रिकैप किए हैं, अगर टुमारो इफ आई हैव ए टाइम, सो आई विल डिस्कस विद द मॉक टेस्ट रिगार्डिंग योर क्वेश्चन कैसे होता है, और क्वेश्चन का आंसर भी कैसे देना है, दैट टुमारो। आज थोड़ा सा समय का अभाव था, क्योंकि मैंने सोचा एक बार रिकैप तो करा दे कम से कम। अगर स्टेट एंड क्वेश्चंस दे देंगे तो हो सकता है आप लोग की परेशानी। सो जो भी मन से आज मैंने डिस्कस किया, ये आपको ध्यान रखना है, और मैंने जो मॉक टेस्ट लेंगे बिल्कुल उसी आधार पर होगा। आपको देखनी या ऑप्शन देख के आपको याद आ जाएगा जी इसका कौन सा आंसर है, क्योंकि मैंने सारे डिस्कस कर लिया ऑलरेडी। हर यूनिट का मैंने जो जो डिस्कस किया, मॉक टेस्ट भी आपको बिल्कुल उसी आधार पर होगा। फॉर्मूलाज भी मैंने ऑलमोस्ट बता दिया कौन कौन फार्मूला है, जैसे कैमरून का फार्मूला आप डिस्कस किया, और स्टेप क्या, ये तो नहीं मैं पूरा कैमरून करने नहीं देंगे, बट मैंने पर्टिकुलर मैं भी बता देता हूँ व्हाट टाइप ऑफ क्वेश्चन के। सपोज में कैमरून रियली आप लोग अंडरस्टैंड किया कि नहीं कैमरून को, तो मैंने क्या करेंगे, एक एग्जाम्पल जो है कर देंगे, उसमें बीच में 1-2 स्टेप्स गायब कर देंगे, आपको बताना है वहीं पर कौन सा स्टेप आएगा। सपोज फॉर कैमरून का D1, D2, D3 जो आपका डिटर्मिनेंट चेंज हो रहा है, मैंने ऑलरेडी देखा था, एक भी करा था आपको, उस टाइप का ही मैंने देंगे, जगलरी कर देंगे, सो दैट आपको आइडेंटिफाई ना वो वाला ऑप्शन करेक्ट है, आपको देखते ही आपको याद आ जाएगा। सिमिलरली इंडक्शन प्रोसेस, मैथमेटिकल इंडक्शंस, सो सपोज फॉर एग्जांपल K1 लगाना है, मैंने इस जगह में मिस कर देंगे, मैं गायब कर देंगे, यहाँ पर K+1 का जो होना चाहिए वो देंगे नहीं, हम डॉट 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 कर देंगे। आपको बताना है यहाँ पर क्या आएगा, मैं उसमें हो सकता है लिख देंगे K+1 क्यूब, K², उल्टा सीधा कर देंगे, गड़बड़ गड़बड़ सब कर देंगे। आपको बताना पड़ेगा जो उस गैप में क्या आना चाहिए। तो इससे क्या होगा, आपको पता चल जाएगा कि ये कहाँ पर चुक रहा है चीज़ को। पर्टिकुलरली इन द एग्जाम का टाइम जहाँ जहाँ मिस होने का संभावना है, मेरा मॉक टेस्ट पे वही मौका ये रहेगा, इच्छा रहेगा जो हमें वो चीज़ दूँ जिससे आप लोगों को एग्जाम का टाइम मिस ना हो जाए। तीसरा मेरा रहेगा कुछ थ्योरम्स का, जैसे फॉर एग्जांपल जैसे डिटर्मिनेंट में आप कैसे चूज करेंगे, स्क्वायर मैट्रिक्स होना चाहिए, वैल्यू होना चाहिए, तो वो उसको हम डिटर्मिनेंट बोलेंगे। ऑलरेडी मैंने डिस्कस भी किया, थोड़ा उसको घुमा देंगे, उसी टाइप का मैंने घुमा देंगे। देन फॉर लाइक दिस वो डिफरेंशियल कैलकुलस, सपोज कुछ दे दिया 2x3, उसका डिफरेंशिएशन करो, मैं आंसर दे देंगे। मैं उसमें हो सकता है इंटीग्रल कर दिया, गलती से हमने उसको गलती से जानबूझ के मैंने उसको डिफरेंशियल ना निकाल के इंटीग्रल कर दिया। आपको पकड़ना है कौन सा करेक्ट आंसर है, इंटीग्रल का भी आंसर है, डिफरेंशियल का भी आंसर रहेगा। मैं उसे जानबूझ के उसमें सब गड़बड़ करके आपको फॉल्स दे देंगे, उसको आपको कंफ्यूज करने के लिए उल्टा सीधा लिख देंगे, गलत कर देंगे जानबूझ के। आपको आइडेंटिफाई करना है जो उसमें कौन सा करेक्ट है। अगर आपने करेक्ट वैल्यू निकाल पाया, दैट मीन्स आप जानते हैं डिफरेंशियल का फॉर्मूला आपको मालूम है, लाइक शायद इंटीग्रल का भी मैंने कोई एक कर दिया, इंटीग्रल करो, इंटीग्रेशन ऑफ दिस, मैंने उसको ऑप्शन दे देंगे, उसमें डिफरेंशियल कर दिया, मैंने उल्टा कर दिया। आप सोचेंगे शायद यही वाला फिगर था, तो आपको उसमें तुक्का मारने से नहीं होगा। आप उस ये भी ऑप्शन जो है तुक्का मारने से नहीं होगा। आपको अगर आप जानते हैं, इफ यू नो द एक्चुअल फार्मूला एंड उसको आप थोड़ा बहुत 2 मिनट अपना पेपर में करोगे, निकल आएगा। छोटा छोटा होगा, 1 मिनट 2 मिनट की बात होगा, आधा सेकेंड में भी आप कर सकते हैं। तो आप तुरंत समझ जाएंगे एक आंसर है, क्योंकि आपका जो कंसेप्ट है और आंसर आपको आंखों का सामने दिखाई दे रहे हैं, तो आपको तुरंत मजा आ जाएगा। मैं कह रहा हूँ, आपको मार्क टेस्ट आप जब करेंगे, आपको कॉन्फिडेंस बढ़ जाएगा, सारे फॉर्मूला भी याद हो जाएगा और छोटे छोटे स्टेप्स आ जाएंगे। बाकी अगर जो टेस्ट होगा, क्या टेस्ट होगा, अगर किसी न्यूमेरल्स में तेरा 3-4 स्टेप है, वो तो संभव नहीं है मॉक टेस्ट में लेने का। सो ना, मेरा क्वेश्चन का पैटर्न इस तरीके का रहेगा। आइडिया इज जैसे आपको साथ साथ प्रिपरेशन हो जाए, ठीक है ना। मैंने और इससे ज़्यादा क्या क्लू दूँ, मैं सब तो बता ही दिया ऑलरेडी ऑलमोस्ट। तो होपफुली ये आप लोग तैयार हो जाइए और जो जो मैंने कराया है वो कर लीजिए, ठीक है। अच्छा, मैंने इसमें वो नाम भूल गया था, वो है क्या, रास्तोगी कहाँ है, बस वो थोड़ा रिस्पॉन्स कम, उसको मैंने मेल एक बार तो किया, बट कॉन्फिडेंट नहीं लग रहा। उसको जब भेजेंगे वो सबको सर्कुलेट करेगा नहीं। आपका जो व्हाट्सएप ग्रुप है आप लोग आपस में, उसका एडमिन कौन है? वो जो आपका जो अपना जो आपका व्हाट्सएप ग्रुप है, ये वाला नहीं, जो जिसमें हमारा जो आप लोग आपस में एक व्हाट्सएप ग्रुप जो है ना, तो उनमें जो एडमिन है वो मुझे व्हाट्सएप में उनका नंबर दे दे, मुझे मोबाइल नंबर दे दे, मैं उनको दे देंगे, सो दैट एडमिन विल डिस्ट्रीब्यूट टू ऑल। हु इज द एडमिन? अभी वहाँ है क्या इसमें? आप लोग व्हाट्सएप ग्रुप है ना आपस में? हेलो, कोई रिस्पॉन्स
यस
क्यों
सर।
नहीं दे रहा?
यस
हाँ?
सर।
आप लोग आपस में है ना?
यस सर।
तो कौन है एडमिन, कौन है उसका, कौन चला रहा है व्हाट्सएप ग्रुप को, कंट्रोल कौन कर रहा है? हु इज कंट्रोलिंग द व्हाट्सएप ग्रुप? मैं
ये
किसको
आर
भेजूं?
के,
मैंने
somebody आर के करके लिखा हुआ है एडमिन में।
बाहर के कर, तो वो तो आप लोग अभी तक पता ही नहीं कौन एडमिन है। आप लोग आपस में चैट होता है, कुछ इंपॉर्टेंट क्वेश्चंस आपस में कुछ पता वार्तालाप हो रहा है कि नहीं? बिकॉज आई एम सरप्राइज, बाकी सारे ग्रुप जितना सारे सेमेस्टर में सब आपस में फर्स्ट क्लास बातचीत होता रहता है। एडमिन है, एक एक दो दो तीन तीन एडमिन है, तो मेरा कोई परेशानी नहीं होता है, मैं आपस में उन लोगों को दे देता हूँ, वो आपस में डाल देते हैं। अभी तो मेरी समझ में नहीं आया, जिसको मैंने सामान कुछ भेजा था वो हाई दिखाई नहीं दे रहा, उसको एक्टिव होना चाहिए ना। एक्चुअली मैं जिनको भेजूंगा, जो स्टूडेंट्स को मैंने रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी देंगे, भाई इसको आगे बढ़ाओ, अगर वही गायब रहेगा, वही मेरे से रिस्पॉन्स नहीं देगा, बात नहीं करेगा, तो मैं कैसे करूँ, है ना। भाई नया कोई बन जाओ, किसको मैं दूं जो रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी ले सकते हैं और सबको बांटेगा। कोई तो मुझे बता दो, मैसेज करो, जैसा ठीक है आप मेरे मोबाइल नंबर में आप भेज दो, और मैं सारे आपको गारंटी दे रहा हूँ, मैं सारे स्टूडेंट्स को मटेरियल सेंड कर दूँगा व्हाट्सएप, क्योंकि मैं तो सबको अलग अलग नहीं भेज सकता ना। और जो मेन जो व्हाट्सएप ग्रुप है ऑलरेडी जिसमें सारी फैकल्टीज है, उसमें देना नहीं चाहता हूँ। वो सबको बस टूम 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 सारे फैकल्टी के पास मैसेज जाएगा ना, अच्छे नहीं लगता ना, भर जाएगा। स्टूडेंट्स का जो व्हाट्सएप ग्रुप है, सिर्फ स्टूडेंट्स का, उसमें हम दे देता, कोई भी एक स्टूडेंट हमको दे दे, तो सर मुझे दे दीजिए आप, मैं अपना जो ऑफिस में जो व्हाट्सएप ग्रुप है सबको बांट देंगे, आपका जो मॉक टेस्ट आप लेंगे, सो दैट हम लोग तैयारी हो जाए। कोई तो रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी ले लो, किसी को तो एक्शन में आना पड़ेगा ना, नहीं तो कैसे पढ़ाई होगा। आप लोग आपस में कोऑर्डिनेशन नहीं है, एक दूसरे को ठीक से जानते भी नहीं है आप लोग। मैं सही कर रहा हूँ कि नहीं, गलत बता रहा हूँ? कोई तो कुछ बोले, रिस्पॉन्स बहुत कम है आप लोगों को।
Yes, sir. You are right, sir.
हाँ? ना राइट तो हूँ, राइट तो हूँ, लेकिन मैंने जो क्वेश्चन छेड़ा है जी, कौन जिम्मेदारी लेंगे, कौन एडमिट बनेगा? आप लोगों को व्हाट्सएप ग्रुप में एडमिन कौन है? कोई नहीं बता पाया ना, कि है ही नहीं, व्हाट्सएप ग्रुप है ही नहीं क्या आप लोगों को?
नहीं, व्हाट्सएप ग्रुप है सर, आई एम नॉट
तो
श्योर कि
उसमें क्या सारी एडमिन है?
नहीं,
वो
सारे
तो
नहीं
होगा।
सर, के somebody से आके दिख रहा है। मैं भी अभी रिसेंटली लास्ट वीक ही ज्वाइन किया हूँ ग्रुप से।
तो उसको पता लगाओ कौन एडमिन है। ठीक है,
श्योर
जो
सर,
भी
हम
हो।
ग्रुप पर डालते हैं और अभी लास्ट की
हाँ,
कनेक्ट विथ
उसको
यू करके।
एग्जैक्टली उसमें आपस में बात कर लो कि भाई सर तो हम लोगों को देना चाहते हैं, कौन रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी लेगा? तो वो उसी का ही मैसेज मेरे पास आ गया, आप जॉइंटली लिखो जी सर ठीक है, हम लोगों ने जॉइंटली डिसाइड किया, ही इज द एडमिन, ही इज कंट्रोलिंग द व्हाट्सएप ग्रुप, आप इनका नाम पे ले लो, उनको आप दे दीजिए, वो फर्दर सारे व्हाट्सएप ग्रुप में डालेंगे, तो मेरा काम हो जाएगा ना। मैं तो अभी समझ में नहीं आ रहा किसको दूँ। एक दो बार तो मैंने डाल दिया, अगर और उसका नाम है अमित रास्तेगी ऐसा कुछ है मेरे ख्याल में, तो वो तो जितना बार आवाज देता हूँ दिखाई नहीं देता, शायद वो क्लास भी ढंग से नहीं कर रहा होगा, मेरे को ऐसा लग रहा है। कहाँ है अमित रास्तेगी? है या अभी नहीं? तो फिर तो जो स्टूडेंट सिंसियर नहीं है, मेरा क्लास में भी अटेंड नहीं हो रहा ठीक से, आवाज नहीं दे रहा है, तो उसको हम कैसे भरोसा करेंगे आगे चल के वो भेजेगा कि नहीं भेजेगा, है ना? तो आप लोग आपस में व्हाट्सएप ग्रुप में एक और दो एडमिन बन जाओ और मुझे बता दो। सर ठीक है, हम लोग करेंगे, और मेरा मोबाइल नंबर तो है ही सबके पास, तो मुझे सेपरेटली बता दो जी सर, इसी व्हाट्सएप में आप दे दीजिए, मैं सबको इसको भेज देंगे। ठीक है,
श्योर सर।
तो मैं यही चाहता हूँ जो आप लोगों का अच्छा से ग्रुप बने। विदाउट ग्रुप आप लोग आगे सेकेंड सेमेस्टर है, थर्ड सेमेस्टर है, कुछ आपको 3-3 साल तक आप लोग को जुड़े रहना है, कैसे रहोगे, है ना? और अच्छे पर्पस के लिए ग्रुप में रहना, कोई कोई हेजिटेट करता है क्या ग्रुप बना है, इसमें फालतू बातें होते रहता है, बट एक ग्रुप को कंट्रोल करने के लिए ग्रुप एडमिन है, उसका जिम्मेदारी है जिसमें रेस्ट्रिक्ट रहेगा, इससे ज़्यादा बातें नहीं, ओनली स्टडी स्टडी स्टडी, गुड मॉर्निंग गुड नाइट, कुछ ये भेज दिया वो पोस्ट दिया, वो पर्सनल व्हाट्सएप में होता रहता है, बट एजुकेशनल व अपना जो पढ़ाई लिखाई का जो व्हाट्सएप है उसमें वो नहीं चलता, वो डेडिकेटेड फॉर स्टडी पर्पस, कुछ मटेरियल अगर कुछ भेजना है, कुछ सॉल्यूशन भेजना है, किसी ने मतलब ज़्यादा समझते हैं, जो जो जानते हैं वो भेजना है, वो आपस में होना चाहिए। सारे सेमेस्टर में ही है ऐसी बात नहीं। ऑल सेमेस्टर में एक अच्छे से ग्रुप बना हुआ है। ठीक है, सो एनीवे आई थिंक आज यहाँ तक ये ऑलमोस्ट हो गया 10-10।
Hello.
यस
So
बताइए।
we have group link. So if I send it on chat, is it okay?
हाँ, अगर जो ग्रुप में नहीं है आई थिंक मेरे पास एक्चुअली क्या ना, मेरा प्रॉब्लम क्या है, हम इंडिविजुअली तो भेज सकते बट इट विल टेक टाइम। मेरा मोबाइल में व्हाट्सएप पे बहुत सारे है, कम से कम 15 to 17 मेरा व्हाट्सएप ग्रुप है, आदर्श यूनिवर्सिटी का भी है ना, तो भर गया पूरा। तो इंडिविजुअल बहुत ज़्यादा इमरजेंसी, अदर्स मेल दे सकते हो, मेल आईडी हम मुझे भेज सकते हो, मेल कर देने से मेरा इजी हो जाता है। अगर जिस चीज़ को चाहिए मुझे मेल आईडी आप भेज देना पर्सनल व्हाट्सएप पे, मैं मेल करता हूँ। दैट आई कैन डू इट। some of the students may be reluctant to join in the WhatsApp group, तो दैट केस आप मुझे मोबाइल नंबर दे दीजिए, सॉरी मेल आईडी दे दीजिए, मैं आप मेल कर दूँ। ठीक है, आई थिंक किसी ने सोनल
So
इज ओके ना?
I don't have your mobile number. Brother.
ओके, आई थिंक चैट बॉक्स में अपना मेल आईडी और फोन नंबर दे देता हूँ, सो दैट दोज हु आर रियली वांटेड, बट मैं सबको नहीं देंगे, बट एक ग्रुप में एक एडमिन होना चाहिए, वो अच्छा रहेगा। जो लोग ग्रुप चलाना चाहते हैं, तो आई कैन सेंड माय मोबाइल नंबर।
So that group only link I wanted to send you. Is it okay? Study group which we have.
एक्चुअली वो जो वही मैं बता, जो ऑलरेडी स्टडी ग्रुप है जिसमें और भी मैम है, कोई और भी बाकी सारे फैकल्टीज टीचर है, मैं उसमें अवॉइड करना चाहता हूँ, क्योंकि उसमें उन लोग भी डिस्टर्ब हो जाएंगे ना, क्योंकि सब ने जैसे मैथ के लिए एक मैथ ग्रुप व्हाट्सएप ग्रुप अलग से है, BCAOL 11 अलग ग्रुप है, इंग्लिश अलग ग्रुप है, तो वो इसी रहता है, सब कुछ मैं ओनली मैथ रिलेटेड सब कुछ आप भेजते रहेंगे, बाकी फैकल्टीज को डिस्टर्ब नहीं करना चाहिए, है ना। अगर इफ आई सेंड समथिंग टुंग टुंग होते रहेगा ना। अगर आप भी मेरे को कुछ मैसेज भेजना चाहते हैं मेन ग्रुप में, तो वो सबको पास चला जाएगा, बाकी सारे फैकल्टीज तो दे डोंट वांट ना। तो इसलिए क्या होता है, इंडिविजुअल ग्रुप बना रहेगा वो अच्छा रहेगा। अदरवाइज आप लोग मेरे को ऐड करके एक सेपरेट ग्रुप बना दीजिए, एक मैथ का ग्रुप बना दीजिए, नो प्रॉब्लम। देन आई कैन डायरेक्टली पुट टू द व्हाट्सएप ग्रुप, ये भी अच्छा है।
Okay,
So yeah,
sir.
I think it will be better, because suppose what are the material I am sending, it may not be required for the other faculties, and उन लोग डिस्टर्ब हो जाएंगे ना, उनका मोबाइल में टूंग टूंग होते रहेगा ना, तो डिस्टर्ब फील करेंगे ना। अगर हमारा से मैथ ग्रुप है, BCS-12 का एक ग्रुप है, अब उसके वर्ड को बना दिए, तो उससे क्या होगा। अच्छा, एनी हाउ आई थिंक रिकॉर्डिंग टाइम भी ऑलमोस्ट होने गया। अच्छा, कोई आपको कोई डाउट तो नहीं? मैं थोड़ा रिकॉर्डिंग बंद कर देता हूँ, so that recording लंबा हो जाएगा। We can record बंद करके then we can discuss something. We can now stop the recording. Okay.